Coming up on News Live at 6, the newest auto fundraiser highlighting the miracle children of upstate Golisano Children's Hospital.
Plus, property and vehicle thievery is on the rise, how it is affecting Syracuse residents, and how officials advise to go into the holiday season.
And did you hear that crazy thunder last night? I'm going to break down what caused that. All that and more. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
The first annual Miracle Kids Fashion Show was held this weekend. Welcome into News Live at 6. I'm John Perik.
And I'm Jake Morel. Autothon's Miracle Kids gave their best strut down the runway for awareness. And here to tell us all about it is reporter Morel. Mora, good evening.
Good evening, Jake. And while I personally might not have my runway walk perfected, the Miracle Kids of upstate Golisano's Children's Hospital sure do. The Autothon committee came up with the idea to strut for a solution, all while modeling a Syracuse student's clothing brand. The message of hope and strength made its runway debut during the first annual Miracle Kid Fashion Show. Hosted by Autothon Committee, this fundraiser provided the miracle children receiving medical treatment at upstate Golisano's Children's Hospital the chance to break through the barriers of their conditions.
Both of my kids, age 12 and 2, have sickle cell anemia, which is a condition that affects the blood and pretty much makes their cells have crescent shapes.
Like a crescent moon. So I saw this outfit and I thought it would be really cute because it's shaped like a crescent moon and it kind of resembles like me. It's an invisible awareness. So when I say, oh, I'm having a little bit of pain, I want people to know that I'm not faking it.
Eddie has osteogenesis imperfecta, brittle bone disease, which is right now, she is a new form of OI, so they're still working on it. The connection that everybody has here, it's amazing. It's hard to put into words.
And this connection and support to these families is what drives the Autothon Committee and members of the Syracuse community to give their time and their clothes to a good cause.
So what Greater Things is, we're all about enjoying the journey to success. So having fun, making the most of it, basically everything that we did today. We produce high quality premium loungewear, so sweatshirts, hoodies, crew necks, all that good stuff. Absolutely loved it. It was so much fun just to see them smile and dance and do their thing. It was so awesome, very heartwarming.
And the countdown to Autothon is on with the 12-hour dance marathon on March 24th. And if you're looking for ways to donate, head to Autothon's Instagram and click the link in their bio to donate through their donor drive. And that's all from me, Jake and John, back to you.
Oh, more great stuff. Really just warms your heart right now. Well, staying on campus, there's a new way you can give back. The United Way of Central New York will be collecting donations at tonight's men's basketball game. The event, called United Way Dome, is part of the United Way SU Giving campaign, dating back over 100 years ago. United Way Central New York is a local nonprofit that aims to give back to the community.
You know, John, I can just predict your reaction to this one, but I did go outside for my run this morning. It was cold. Did not feel good when I was breathing heavily while I was running. I've been trying to get over some sickness. Not a fan of it.
So I woke up this morning around like at 8 o'clock, and my new thing, I wake up and I go. I'm inspired by you. I've been running, and Brandon Myers, I go for a run today, 4 miles, and I barely could breathe. It was freezing out. My whole entire body wanted to shut down. Come on, I want some Florida weather. At least not the 30 degrees. Come on, Brandon. What can you tell us?
Well, John, I'm looking to go for a run too, but back inside. It's certainly very cold out right now. I went out this morning in a hoodie thinking that it was going to be super nice out, but unfortunately those days are behind us. Right now it's 39 degrees out. The sun just set moments ago. It's mostly cloudy with 4-mile-per-hour winds. Looking across our region here, we're pretty much seeing low to high 30s all across our region, even going up to 40 degrees up in Rochester. Unfortunately, it's going to be getting even colder later tonight. It's going to go down to 35 degrees. Those clouds are going to be dissipating just a little bit because it's going to be partly cloudy, and we're going to also see our winds die down. But it's certainly very chilly out here. I'm in the winter coat. I'm looking to get back inside. inside. I don't know about you guys.
All right, Brandon, well, join us inside. It's very warm in here. Now let's shift to crime right now. Crime is on the rise in Syracuse, and no one is feeling it worse than residents, especially near campus. Our Caitlin Campbell reports.
Break-ins and car theft are becoming a more common occurrence for Syracuse residents. Syracuse Police Department Lieutenant Matthew Malinowski discusses the crime increase.
We've seen an increase, has been property crime is up about 14%, and pretty substantial amount of that is stolen vehicles. That's about a 65% increase from last year. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot view of what crime's looking like in the city this far. Usually our shootings, stabbings, those are personal disputes or gang disputes, but the property crime affects people that are involved in that stuff. So I've seen it, especially with stolen vehicles. If you own a Kia or a Hyundai, it's been a challenge for us. There's that kind of manufacturer's defect in the vehicle, making those easily stolen.
Now, I'm here in this Westcott neighborhood that's supposed to be quiet and safe. Well, that's not the case for Lemoyne student Sally Sanders, who just behind me here experienced a break-in for herself and is now dealing with the aftermath.
That's so sad to think about and relive this whole experience. The car was unlocked, my credit card was in the car. So many other things like my sunglasses, they stole random stuff like tanning lotion. They went up the stairs to my back porch. They tried to open the back door. They looked into a bedroom window, pushed on the screen broke open. I think they looked inside a little bit. I don't even want to sleep in my room alone at night anymore. I had hopes and dreams of staying in Syracuse after school, and honestly, I'm kind of learning that this city just isn't for me.
The Syracuse Police Department is urging people not to leave valuables left in their vehicle and to not leave it unattended. And for students leaving campus, the Syracuse University Department of Public Safety has a full list of safety efforts one can take before heading home. Reporting in Syracuse, I'm Caitlin Campbell, CitrusTV News.
Caitlin, thank you. Now to new details on the boom in tech jobs across central New York. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is celebrating new estimates from PPC, an East Syracuse company that helps build broadband internet service. The company says it will expand to nearly 200 jobs in the area and credits Schumer and the White House for their work on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Schumer is comparing the impact of PPC to another well-known business here in Syracuse.
Just look at SU's dome and you will see JMA in big letters as the world's preeminent maker of 5G. But today I'm here to announce exciting news for a different three-letter company, PPC. And those are three letters that we're going to learn as well here in central New York and learn them well.
All right, well, now if you're in Syracuse planning on driving on Interstate 81 tonight or any night this week, you might want to give yourself some extra time due to lane closures. Tonight from 7:30 to 6 in the morning, I-81 northbound lanes between exit 16A and 17 will be closed, and southbound lanes will also be blocked off overnight Thursday and Friday. Northbound lanes will reopen on Thursday morning, with southbound lanes set to reopen on Saturday.
And staying on 81, the New York Department of Transportation is showing drivers how their commute will change near the I-81 and 481 connection. Here's what it looks like now. This is a shot looking north towards the Brighton Towers.
And now here, let's take a look at the new plans. And as we can see right there, there will be two new roundabouts. And let's say you're driving back to campus from Wegmans or Aldi and DeWitt. You'll have to exit Interstate 481 and use local streets. And a new roundabout to get back on a ramp for I-81 North. Commuters coming back the other way will have the same high-speed access from 81 South to 481 North. And despite the changes, the state says the new route won't add any significant time to your trip. Well, that's nice, Jake.
It is. DeWitt community members crowded into the town hall last night to show their support for the Shoppingtown Mall plans. The group endorsed Onondaga County's Industrial Development Agency's use of eminent domain to force the sale of two properties holding up the project. Companies Benderson Development and Transform have refused to accept offers to consolidate their property for redevelopment. Onondaga County plans to redevelop the deteriorating space into, quote, District East, an urban-style shopping center with housing, retail, dining, and entertainment.
And early this morning, a group of Central New Yorkers boarded a bus headed for Washington, D.C. ahead of a pro-Israel national protest. The D.C. protest comes as over 200 hostages are still being held by Hamas. The Syracuse trip was organized by CNY's Jewish Center.
And 2 people were hospitalized after a 2-car crash that sent a vehicle into the Bunny Club strip club early this morning. The crash was reported at 6:54 a.m. at North Salina and Wolf Street, according to the Onondaga County 911 Center dispatchers. 1 person was unconscious when first responders arrived at the scene, and 2 ambulances were requested. The car that hit the club was damaged with a piece of the building landing on it.
Coming up on News Live at 6, a high-profile court case could decide the balance of Congress. Why Syracuse Congressman Brandon Williams is speaking out.
Plus, drawing back, the issue New York's governor is changing her stance on and how it could affect you. Stay with us.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Get some drinks!
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
You're watching CitrusTV News live at 6 with Jake Morel, John Perik, and Brandon Myers. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Tomorrow, the highest court in New York will hear arguments about whether the state should change its congressional district lines.
The current maps were drawn after a contentious court fight last year and led to a surprise wave of narrow Republican victories in battleground House seats. And here to discuss is our political reporter, Luke Radel. Luke, what are the chances we see these maps change?
Well, John, if the folks at Stop NY Corruption have their way, the congressional district maps here in the Empire State won't change for another 10 years. That's the usual cycle for a process called redistricting, where each decade as the new population numbers emerge from the census, the district lines have to be withdrawn to make sure an even number of people live within each U.S. House district. But sometimes those lines can be drawn in a way that intentionally includes or excludes some voters based on their political party. That is a practice called gerrymandering, and as the leader of the Stop NY Corruption group points out, it is prohibited under a 2014 amendment to the state constitution. Here's Bobby Ann Cox, an attorney who is sounding the alarm about this issue.
What is going on? Well, we have corrupt politicians in Albany that are trying to undo the will of the people. When redistricting is not done properly, it leads to gerrymandering, which is unconstitutional. It is illegal. Our New York State Constitution says that you will not draw the maps to favor one political party over another.
Now, after an extended back and forth during the last election cycle, this was the map we ended up with. It was drawn by a nonpartisan expert called the Special Master and created several toss-up districts that were snagged by Republicans in last year's midterms. Take a look at that wave of red. Lots of wins for Republicans in New York's 17th District, Mike Lawler, Mark Molinaro in the 19th District, and Brandon Williams right here in NY22. But it's interesting that Williams appeared at that news conference on Friday with Claudia Tenney, given that up until last year, Tenney actually lived here in NY22 out in my hometown of Utica. She moved out to this sweeping conservative district, NY24, and won 2/3 of the vote there last fall. And one of the votes in her corner was Brandon Williams, who is still living in the 24th district and couldn't even vote for himself. And with this situation still going on, I asked them both a fairly simple question. For the members of Congress, regardless of how the lines shake out, by this time next year, will you both be living in the district that you're running to represent?
Nobody knows. We don't know what the lines will look like. So that's one of the problems. It's actually a great question because it points out and emphasizes one of the problems that we have. If we keep redrawing the district maps, then how do the representatives know where they're supposed to be? How do they know who their constituents are? How do they know how to represent those constituents? Because they just got pulled from this section and now they're spread out over here and now they have to, it doesn't make sense.
Notice you only heard from one of the members of Congress on that question, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, saying that, quote, nobody knows whether the members of Congress will be living in their districts by this time next year. And though he didn't answer that question, the concern does apply to our congressman here in Syracuse, Brandon Williams. He currently lives about 2 miles outside the district lines, even though during his first campaign he promised he would move here. One senior advisor who worked on that campaign and who was involved in conversations ahead of that promise being made tells me, quote, I'm not sure whether he was ever serious about that promise, but I know I never saw a moving box. He was far more worried about finding a place in Washington, D.C., the advisor continued, than he ever was about moving into his own district. Now, guys, we will be monitoring this case as it moves forward tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see whether the Court of Appeals decides to tear up these maps and start all over again. Jake and John, back over to you.
Luke, thank you. Speaking of New York State politics, Governor Kathy Hochul has revoked her original plan of issuing state-approved work papers to migrants. Yesterday, Hochul explained that she's taking the idea off the table as she says she would not be able to protect New York employers from criminal exposure with this plan.
Hochul says she's, quote, constrained by the law. This decision comes after thousands of asylum seekers remain in New York City without federal work authorization.
Coming up after the break, I'm going to have your full 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Got a quarter?
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back into Citrus TV News. Let's take a look here at our 5-day forecast now. Wednesday and Thursday, we are going to be seeing a little bit of sun. It's going to be mostly cloudy on Wednesday with a high of 55 and a low of 39. Moving into Thursday, it's going to be partly cloudy. Going to see some clouds move away with some highs, with a high in the 60 rather and low in 48. For our weekend, though, we are going to be seeing a lot of showers as students begin to move away for Thanksgiving break. Of course, our weekend is looking definitely a little gloomy here with partly cloudy on Friday, some scattered showers on Saturday, and even some potential snow on Sunday, rather. Let's take a look here at our weekend radar. As you can see, we're definitely seeing a lot of activity across central New York here. Definitely seeing a lot of rain and even some snow, especially there up north, start to move in during the weekend. Thankfully, I won't have to deal with that as I'm going home back to New Jersey, but you know, certainly feeling very, very gloomy out.
Yeah, no, it's feeling gloomy. Also, I was at my house yesterday afternoon just doing some homework, and all of a sudden I hear boom! Oh my goodness, my house shook. How about the thunder last night? And by the way, thunder on a cold day, not my forte.
Yeah, it was freezing when I woke up. I walked outside. I was immediately cold, and then when I was going to bed, it was thunder. I don't understand, Brett. And also, yeah, it was extremely loud. You got anything for us on that?
Well, you know, what we saw typically is when we see most thunderstorms, we saw a cold front and a warm front move in, which is what creates, you know, our normal thunderstorms. Now, typically, as you move up in the atmosphere, the temperatures get colder and colder. But what we actually saw last night is a term known as an inversion. And, you know, what happened was it actually got warmer and warmer. So, you know, really what happened was the thunderstorms actually bounced down off of those warm temperatures, which is why we got a lot of those really loud thunderstorms. I was walking outside of class, I heard the thunder, and I just turned around and walked back inside because it was just so loud.
Yeah, no, definitely something I haven't heard in my time in Syracuse. Thunder that loud. My house was loud tonight, but will the loud house be loud? Ben Spector's got sports.
Well, John, coming up next, Syracuse men's basketball has an opponent tonight that has had its number in each of the last 2 seasons. What will tonight have in store? We got you covered. Don't go anywhere.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
breathe right into your foot,
your plumber's masseuse,
yes,
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Syracuse men's basketball for 59 years used to dominate Colgate, but in each of the last 2 seasons, the script has been flipped. A new chapter, though, can be written tonight. Welcome to sports. I'm Ben Spector. SU men's hoops 2 years ago hosted Colgate in the Dome on a November night where the expectation was simple: victory. After all, the Orange hadn't lost to the Orange since the 1961-62 season. Well, behind 12 threes from guard Jack Ferguson and Nellie Cummings, Colgate took down SU 100-85. Fast forward to last November, Ferguson and Cummings no longer on the roster, and Syracuse aimed to get back in the win column after decades of domination over Colgate. The Raiders dominated once again. Colgate Colgate hit 19 threes as a team, and that included 8 trays from guard Tucker Richardson en route to an 80-68 SU loss. The nightmare became a reality, and for the first time since the early 1960s, the Cuse lost consecutive games to Colgate. So what's the difference tonight? Well, SU sits at 2-0 on the young season, and the backcourt in J.J. Starling and Judah Mintz have been playing fast. Mintz has had at least 20 points in each of the last 2 contests, and Starling put up a career-high 7 boards and 7 assists in the win against Canisius last week. Tip-off between the Orange and the Raiders is in just about 40 minutes. Be sure to tune into Orange Press Pass on Citrus TV at 11 tonight for all your post-game coverage. Over on the gridiron, Syracuse football had itself a day in a 28-13 win over Pitt in the city that never sleeps. With its backs against the wall on a 5-game losing skid, SU needed offense in the worst way possible. Enter tight end Dan Villari, or should I say running back Dan Villari. The redshirt sophomore had 17 carries for just over 150 yards and a touchdown, and while listed as a tight end, earned co-ACC running back of the week. It was a dynamic rushing attack for the Cuse, and according to head coach Dino Babers, you have to give credit to each member of the 3-headed monstrous rushing attack.
I said this at the post game, but when you talk about LaQuinn Allen and Dan Villari, and we didn't know Garrett Schrader was going to be available, but you add Garrett Schrader to the mix, and you've got 3 guys that have a huge heart and they play the game the right way.
Well, the hearts of Allen, Schrader, and Villari combined for just over 360 yards on the ground in the victory. SU is now 1 win away from being bowl eligible. The Cuse travel to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech this Saturday at 8. In the NBA, the Nets host the Magic in the in-season tournament. Remember, these games count toward the regular season record, and Brooklyn has 2 wins in each of the last 3 matchups. The Nets are 1-1 in the newly installed in-season tournament, and this one against the Magic gets going at 7:30. Over to the NHL, the Sabres and Bruins go head-to-head in an in-division clash tonight. The Sabres just went 1-1 in a back-to-back, but in the second leg were shut out by the Penguins 4-0. Tonight is the first time Buffalo and Boston meet in the 2023-24 season. This one gets going at 7.
Hey, Ben. Great to have you back on Tuesday News.
Good to see you.
Speaking of Buffalo there, did you catch that game last night?
I did.
I could not believe that Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson, Danger Russ Wilson, pulled through at the end.
How about the Bills' penalty, too?
Yeah, 12 men on the field on the missed field goal by Will Lutz. Just inexcusable penalties. And then they blame the offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey gets fired, so Joe Brady, now the new OC in Buffalo.
Yeah, interesting to see what'll go on there as we go on with the season. When we come back, one last look at your wake-up weather.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Let's take a look here at our wake-up weather. Tomorrow it's going to be 40 degrees out. We are going to be seeing a little bit of sun. It's going to be mostly cloudy with some 6 miles per hour winds. Definitely feeling certainly chilly out. May have to bring the winter coat out again tomorrow morning.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. And well, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, turkey prices are down 22%, but everything else is on the rise. And in order to save some money, you might have to be cutting out some of those side dishes. Now, me personally, I'm cutting out the cranberry sauce. I've never been a fan
controversial.
of it. That might be controversial.
Yeah,
I've never
agree.
been a fan of it.
Fade the pumpkin pie. It just doesn't belong.
He's using fade. He's using fade on there. I love that.
Pumpkins are a Halloween thing. Get rid of that. Give me another apple
That's
pie.
a crazy
I'll say
take.
this: I'm spending the money. Give me all the side dishes. I'm spending.
I like that. I like that idea.
Support that.
Yeah, I completely disagree with John. I'm all for the pumpkin pie.
Love that.
100%.
All right.
Love pumpkin pie.
All right. Well, hey, that's all the time we have for you on this Tuesday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now, for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Jake Morel.
And I'm John Perik. Take care, Syracuse.